Well, that was a mistake. I underestimated an aggressive dog, and I want to make a video so nobody out there does the same thing. Oh, and by the way, welcome back to the coolest dog training channel here on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's Canine Educator. Welcome to my van. Today, again, I'm going to give you 2 tips on how to not get bit by an aggressive dog and 2 mistakes a lot of people make when working with aggressive dogs. I hope you like it. So I had a recent consultation with the dog up from New York City. Now this particular dog had worked with a couple other trainers with little to no help, and so they saw me and they figured, hey, let's give this guy a shot. So they came up, and it was a great opportunity for you guys to see a couple mistakes that I made and also understand when and where and how to correct a dog, and if maybe you shouldn't correct a dog altogether. We talked about the dog for a little bit, and then I made a mistake. And it's very important for you guys out there to know what a mistake is when you're correcting your dog, and hopefully you guys never make a mistake like this, because what I had to do was a lot of karate moves to counteract and to get out of there safely. So basically after the 4-hour drive, I said, hey, why don't you just let your dog out in my play area so he can get some energy out, and the board and train drop-off will be in the future. They agreed. They said that would be a great idea. Well, then I took a look at the dog and I realized that we had big issues, or bigger problems. The dog was on a harness and a flat collar. Now this is no disrespect or negativity towards the dog owners whatsoever. Please don't get me wrong. This is just the situation and the predicament this dog was unfortunately set up with. So I didn't know how bad the reactivity was, so when they brought the dog into my facility, there were dogs in crates that this dog wanted to go after. Given this scenario and this situation, like I said, I failed the dog because I probably shouldn't have put the dog in that situation because I underestimated the reactivity or the aggression from the dog. So I walked into the front room where the crates were and the dog just lost it. And of course, I have nothing but a harness and a leash. And obviously anybody out there that professionally works with dogs knows that a harness isn't going to do any good in these types of situations. It's going to pull the dog back. It's going to frustrate the dog and aggravate the dog even more. Especially when you get a 70-pound dog full of muscle ready to go round 1 and 2 with any dog that walks in its path. Getting back to what I said in the beginning of the video, there's 2 situations I personally would suggest for nobody to correct their dog. First one is if your dog is really, truly aggressive. So if the dog is actively scraping and trying to get to the other dog to hurt them very maliciously, if you physically correct that dog, say a leash, prong collar, a flat collar, or harness, a head halter, no matter what you use to physically correct the dog, that will cause the dog to redirect like you're going to see at the end of this video. This dog came at me multiple times. He grabbed me once, I was able to flee. I felt like I was in an MMA fight. So you very simply have to dictate what the intentions are of the dog before you ever punish them or ever correct them physically. That's where you're going to run into problems with using any type of physical aversives. The other time I would never correct a dog is if they're actually fearful for their life. So I get a lot of dogs on this channel that you guys see that are actually fear-based aggression, very pushy, very like, I don't know what to do, I'm going to go after you. But that's different from a dog sitting there cowering and barking out of fear. So you never want to really correct a dog, especially physically, when they're sitting there going, I don't know what to do. If they're barking and they're lunging and they're trying to bite you, that's one thing. But you never want to correct a dog for sitting there, whining, barking in place, not coming at you, because that's going to do way more damage than good. Secondly, I would never correct a dog if they actually thought that they were in immediate danger. So if they're actively coming at you, trying to bite you, trying to bark at you, that's different. You can correct that and discipline the dog for doing all those things because they're very pushy, and yeah, they may be fearful, but they're still actively coming at you. But if a dog is sitting there, scared out of its mind, going to the bathroom on themselves, shaking, maybe barking into the air, you don't want to correct that. I get a lot of messages and a lot of comments in the comments below, because that's why we're the coolest dog training channel on the planet, because we talk in the comments below. Wink, wink, we'll do that later. But people ask me, should I correct my dog this? Should I correct my dog that? Look, There's so many different variables out there: when to punish your dog, when not to punish your dog, when to reward your dog, when not to reward your dog. But those are the two things I want to make sure everyone knows to play it safe, because it's very hard for me as a professional and being a YouTube creator to just tell people do this and don't do that. That's why I put out so many videos for you guys to watch. And so again, recapping, the first thing is never correct a dog that has malicious intentions, because you could get redirected. And when I say correction, this is talking physically correction. There's other ways, such using a vibrate collar or something like that, or just using a can full of marbles or something. You could do a lot of that stuff to discourage the behavior. But if you physically correct a dog on a leash with anything as they're maliciously, intentionally going after another dog to hurt them, there's a good chance they're going to redirect on you. Secondly, never correct a poor dog sitting there barking out of fear, sitting there by themselves, shaking, scared. That's what will make things a lot worse. And of course, as balanced dog trainers and being professional, there are people out there who don't know these things and can make tools and can make dog training in general just look really bad. So I hope this brings you guys some sort of value. Again, we're the coolest dog training channel on YouTube. Leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think of this video, and I will respond to any dog training questions we get. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, I created a Patreon account. I get a lot of messages and a lot of comments as well of people saying, hey man, you put out all this editing, you put out all this content absolutely free. How can I help you? How can I support you? I'm about to hit the road and go out west. It is late May right now, so next month, so in April, I'm going out west. So anyway, if you guys want to support me, I basically made a Patreon account. I'm going to link the description below, so you guys can sign up monthly and be a Patreon of me and what I do and all the content that I create on the podcast or on the YouTube. And it's just Patreon/Upstate Canine. I'll put the link below. If you guys want to be a Patreon of me and what I do, I would really appreciate that. If not, no worries as usual. Thank you guys so very much for watching me, and I hope this brings value to you, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.